Hello and welcome to Second Edition. I'm Nadia Curl.
And I'm Kira Brott.
It's our first show of the fall today, and coming up, we're going to look at how you can help a student in need this holiday season.
Plus, we'll meet a former radio and television grad who's living his dream working on the Oilers. But first, we remember.
This Friday is Remembrance Day, and kids across the country are showing support for veterans with painted rocks and poems. The No Stone Left Alone Memorial Foundation helps kids across the country to acknowledge and honor all the veterans of Canada. Last year, founder Maureen Purvis accomplished 131 ceremonies in 88 communities, and this year is looking to have even more involvement.
Her daughters one day said, "Why aren't there poppies on all the veterans' headstones?" And so she made a commitment at that time to try to honor the veterans and help us all remember them.
The ceremonies are far from being over, and you can visit their website, nostoneleftalone.ca, for information on how to attend one.
With prices rising as the holidays near, the NATSA Food Center Holiday Hamper Campaign is hoping to help. The center is running the campaign to support families in need this winter with the help from places like the Edmonton Food Bank. They fed 22 families last year and have seen a 248% increase in the service use this year.
We have like a pretty high need for like canned fruit a lot of the time because it's pretty expensive, and so that's like one of them, or peanut butter, like beans, like dried pasta, any kind of like little snacks, granola bars, juices, applesauce, anything like that.
The deadline to sponsor a family hamper ends November 14th, but you can still donate to the center anytime.
Farmers markets everywhere are closing for the season as winter approaches, but Bountiful Farmers Market on 97th Street is proving to be different.
How's it going today?
It's going. It's really busy. We sold all of our gingerbread boxes so far.
The Bountiful Farmers Market, located only in Edmonton, is open all year round and from Friday to Sunday. Differing from most farmers markets that are only one day a week and seasonal, vendors here can count on consistency in sales and keeping products fresh.
We do see a drop when it first gets cold and the number of people that are in here. It's also pretty common to see vendors like running late or something in a day because it takes time to get used to the winter. Once everyone kind of adjusts, so give it a month or two when the cold weather starts, it's usually back to busy times. That's also usually when the holidays are around, so we see a recovery from that for sure.
Visit the Bountiful Farmers Market any day of the weekend from morning until 4 p.m. any week of the year.
The Extra Life 24-hour gaming marathon returned to Nate this weekend for the first time in 2 years to help raise funds for the Stollery Children's Hospital. Rivalries were high Saturday afternoon as the Mario Kart tournament kicked off gaming day. Multiple events planned throughout the day, including a video game music performance, raffles, and more.
We weren't really away because we did do online presentations and tried to bring those traditions of game day to an online forum. But being able to see our friends and to look into their faces and see our fellow fundraisers, it's beyond exciting.
Extra Life raised $340,000 for the hospital last year and hopes to beat that amount by the end of this year. Now we review a great weekend for Nate's sports teams. Let's pass it over to our Caleb Perot, who has more on a few wins and goalie breaking records.
Thanks, guys. After earning 2 wins on the road, the Ooks women's hockey team hit the ice for their home opener on Friday. The Ooks, under new captain Cass Lytle, scored 3 goals in the first period and cruised to victory against Red Deer Polytechnic. Final result, 4-1 Ooks. For this squad, facing the defending champs at home first was exciting.
This game's been marked on the calendar for months, especially it being the home opener, especially against Red Deer, so all our games should be good contests, so we're really excited to see how we match up.
Well, match up they did. It was a memorable night for goalie Caitlin Slater, who not only won Player of the Game, but also leads Nate all-time for wins for a goaltender and is in the hunt for the same record for the whole league. The Ooks will host Lakeland College on Friday night at Nate Arena. With only one loss going into the weekend, the Nate Ooks men's basketball team was looking for a sweep to stay perfect on the season. After practice last week, they hit the road and split in both games, beating Ambrose University but losing to Lethbridge College, both being undefeated going into the weekend. This team had a tough season last year, finishing in the bottom of the standings and losing their only playoff game. This year, they're second in their division, winning almost as many games as last year already. For them, it's been a collective effort so far.
Our biggest key is our depth. Being able to have 7 or 8 guys that can come in and contribute.
Remains second in their division, just behind KC, who has 6 wins on the year and no losses on the year. They will take on Medicine Hat College on Friday, November 18th. What an exciting time to be an Ooks fan.
I know, right? What an awesome weekend for Slater. I hope she breaks the record soon.
And the men's team, what a turnaround. Thanks, Caleb. The Edmonton Public School Board is rolling out a survey to students in grades 4 to 12 to collect data about their race, religion, ethnicity, and gender identity.
Students enrolled in grades 7 through 12 will also be asked about their sexual orientation. Sienna Chernansky has more on this.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with Corey Fraser. She's the principal at one of the schools here in Edmonton. My first question is, why do you think the survey is important to the school board?
The Board of Trustees came up with a strategic plan, and one of the points on the strategic plan is reconciliation and anti-racism. So this work started before this particular board, and it started back in June of 2020. And so this is kind of that action step in getting that first bit of data so that we can deepen our plan.
How many questions are on the survey?
So if you're in Division 2, which is grade 4, 5, and 6, there are 5 questions. If you're in Division 3 or 4, there are 6 questions. So junior high and high school students, grades 7 to 12, answer 6 questions.
How do you think that this will impact schools, and what do you think the pros and cons are of the survey?
So I'm not sure it will impact schools because we don't get the data. The data is held centrally. It is going to be analyzed centrally. I will never see what anybody ever writes. That if you attend my school, this is really a division-wide survey, and that data will be held in confidence in a place outside of my school. So I'm not sure it will impact my school directly. I think it's that first start in having some really hard conversations. The pros are we're going to be able to know who's in our buildings. And I say that like from a division level. We will know who our clientele is. We will know who our kids, our families, our students are. And the more we know, the more we can make sure that their needs are being met. The cons are, for lots of people, safety has been an issue. And they might not feel safe answering some of these questions. And so I think we've addressed a lot of that. We have done a lot of preliminary work in working with our parent communities, with working with our teachers, and then our students to make sure that safety is at the forefront. But we do understand that could be a real area of concern for many people.
Have you had any students or parents upset by the news of the survey, or have you had any of them happy about the survey?
I've had some parents ask questions about the survey. They would like to know what's on the survey. There's some just like tell me more kind of questions, but nobody that's been really upset. If I think of myself as not just a school leader, but as a parent of biracial children, I would, there might be some questions I would be like, oh, okay, what's this being used for? But for me, I feel secure in knowing what the division's going to use that data for, and it's not being used against my children. But the nice thing is people can opt out. So if you're not happy, if you don't like it, if it doesn't fit with how you show up in the world or your trust with schools, don't answer the survey. It's okay.
That is all the questions I have. Thanks for joining us today, guys. My name's Sienna Chernansky with Second Edition.
Esports is ever growing, and Nate is one of the colleges spearheading it.
Nate's well-being coordinator tells us how we can get more involved in esports at Nate. Our Mohammed Jama has more on this.
Esports is growing around the world, but I wanted to know how esports is growing right here at Nate. I spoke to Nate well-being coordinator Sandra Babiak for more. Hi Sandy, how do you feel esports has grown at Nate?
Well, we used to have a lot of esports events before COVID. We had some in-person esports events. And then during COVID, it kind of slowed down a bit. But we did kind of discover another organization that we've been working with. It's called CCEL. So it's Canadian Collegiate Esports League, which consists of a whole bunch of other colleges and universities similar to NAIT, like University of Lethbridge and Regina, like all over Canada. So we've come together and we provide esports events for students on a non-competitive level because we wanted all students to be involved regardless of their level in esports. So we've been doing that and it's been going pretty well. So those are virtual tournaments and leagues, of course. And we just had one on November 5th. It was a Valorant tournament, and we actually had the most students out of any organization, any college or university. NAIT had the most students, and the NAIT students actually won first and third place, so it was really good.
What are some things that students can do to get more involved in esports at NAIT?
Sign up, right? So they can sign up through CCL, they can join our Discord server, they can check us out on Ooks Life where we'll be posting all the events. So the more people, we have quite a few NAIT students that are registered for in our CCL organization. There's quite a few that are registered already, but the more the better.
There be more events like Esports Landing in the future for esports enthusiasts?
Most definitely, yeah. We're planning to have, we just had one last week, so we're planning to have one at least every couple of weeks. We're collaborating, like I said, we're collaborating with other organizations like NAITSA, as well as NAIT esports clubs that are run by NAIT students. We're actually having, in December, beginning of December, we're collaborating with NAITSA on a tournament that's going to be run the whole day I believe it's on a weekend. So that's going to be the next one that we're collaborating on, but definitely there'll be lots of esports landing events.
Okay. With NAIT Second Edition, it has been Mohammed Jama. Time for me to get back to gaming.
What does it take to make it in sports broadcasting?
A NAIT business and radio and television grad had the chance to share industry tips with radio and television students.
Second Edition's own Adrian St. Ange has more.
That's right, guys. I'm here at Rogers Place, where I got to sit with RATV grad and business grad Tony Brar. Tony and I get to sit down as we talk about his transition from student life to small industry to how he scored his dream job with the Edmonton Oilers. You came in to talk to the firsts and some of the seconds. What was that like for you?
It's always such a fulfilling time for me. Anytime I can make my way back to my stomping grounds and the place that allowed me to lay down my foundation in this career. I never take any moment like that for granted because it's always so special for me to talk to people that were in my shoes. When I look back, I think it's 5.5 years ago.
You preached discipline. What was it about discipline that was so important for you going forward in your career?
I think the reason why I preach discipline so much is because motivation is thrown around a little bit more. And trust me, motivation is great. When you're motivated, you feel on top of the world, you feel unstoppable. But motivation comes and goes. You know, we are human. We are not perfect humans. A perfect human would be motivated every single day. Yeah. We know from experience that that's not the case. Some days you wake up and you just don't feel it. And that's okay. You're human. Mm-hmm. There's nothing wrong with that. But that's where discipline comes in. Because whether you're motivated or not motivated, discipline is something that you can always practice.
You were talking about stomping grounds earlier. Obviously you spent some time with the Ooks. How did that influence you going forward?
I think what the NAIT Ooks program did for me was it provided me with a little taste of what is to come. I truly had a belief that I would try to carve out a career in hockey specifically, but in sports in general. And what it did was it reinvigorated my fire. That's the biggest thing, is because as a color commentator, as a host of NR92 and the broadcasts, and then hosting whether it was a lunch with the NAIT Ooks alumni or emceeing their award ceremony. What it did was it reinvigorated my love for continuing to progress. Because if that was the taste that I got in that moment and it made me feel that good and that alive, that I wanted to continue to stay on my path and continue to do the things that will get me there. And that was the greatest thing that I could have asked for at that time for me.
Well, guys, you heard it from Tony. Just like any athlete, it takes dedication, motivation, but most importantly, discipline to succeed in this industry. Just like Wayne Gretzky said, you miss every shot you don't take. I'm Adrian St. Ange for Second Edition News.
Want a distraction from your studies? How about checking out the events Nate has to offer?
It's a great way to relieve stress and just have fun. A promotion and engagement specialist shares details all about campus events with our very own Shania Fosto.
Thank you, Kara and Nadia. And today we're joined with Lindsay Jameson. She's the Promotions and Engagement Specialist here at NATSA, and she's going to talk to us all about campus events and how it can help you have a fun student experience.
Hey Lindsay, how are you doing today?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for doing this interview with me.
No problem. So what does your job title as a Promotion and Engagement Specialist entails? Like what are some of your responsibilities in your job?
So right now I run the Ooks Life social media channel, so that's Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok. You can find us pretty much anywhere. I also help to plan all of the promotions for the about 140 NATSA events that we host every year.
What do you think is the importance of campus events?
I think that it gives students an opportunity to get involved outside of what they do in the classroom. Helps you build community, meet new people who might not be in your program. I know a lot of the programs here at NATE are more cohort-based, so you spend, Monday to Friday, 9 to 5 with the same people. So it gives you an opportunity to kind of expand your community.
How can students find out about new and upcoming events?
So we always say, check out ookslife.ca if you're, on the go and you're wanting to see what's going on campus. But if students are, roaming around, they'll see posters about upcoming events, which are a really great way. If you're just passing something in the hallway, that's the best way to find out as well.
So if students find an event they would like to participate to, how can they find information about it?
So for all of our events, they can head to ookslife.ca. They can check out our event list. You'll see some different categories on the side, but look for NATSA events. And there's usually two options. The first will be the RSVP. Many of the events that we have are free, but we always encourage students to RSVP just because we have limited spots, and it will also give them a reminder ahead of the event, which is great.
And are there any upcoming events that you're looking forward to the most?
We have a headphone disco party at the Nest Eatery Friday, November 25th, which will be really exciting. Tickets are $10 for students, $15 for non-students, and guests, if you will. Students get kind of a free meal, a free drink ticket, and then free non-alcoholic beverages throughout the night. And that will be a really great opportunity for students to kind of celebrate the end of the semester. December goes by pretty quickly, so it's nice to celebrate that at the end of November. And, dance, if you've never been to a headphone disco before, it's pretty fun. There will be 2 different DJs set up, and you have your headphones tuned into one of those, and everyone's kind of listening to different music, but everyone is there to have a good time, so that's really exciting.
So thank you so much for doing this interview with me and answering all of my questions.
Thanks for inviting me.
This is Shania Foster for Second Edition News.
Coming up after the break, we'll find out how to ball on a budget.
And later, we'll learn how to make a quick breakfast for busy students and go on a journey of the best places to eat at NATE, so stay tuned.
Welcome back to Second Edition. Nadia, did you have breakfast this morning?
I didn't. And speaking of which, we're going to find out how to make a quick breakfast, and then we'll go on a tour of what to eat at NATE in a day.
But first, we'll find out how to shop without breaking the bank from our own Nate Fraser.
I'm Nate Fraser with Second Edition, and this is Ballin' on a Budget.
And this is
Now that Halloween has officially passed, Christmas is right around the corner. First, we have to find a baller store that fits our budget. I found the baller stores near me. Now it's time to check them out. I just got back from the store. Now it's time to showcase what I got. As you can see, this item is pretty baller. Not only does he have a cape, but that same cape turns into a wingsuit. This item is suitable for any young superhero lover. This item is a little bit over budget, but it sure does look baller on a Christmas tree. This small decoration is sure to boost the Christmas spirit. Not only is it aesthetically pleasing, it also lights up, which is pretty baller. Not only does it look baller, but it also fits within almost every budget. And don't think this is any normal vehicle, because this one makes noise. I've been Nate Fraser with 2nd Edition.
Welcome to my kitchen. I'm Nora Mohammed for 2nd Edition. Today I'm making a healthy and nutritious breakfast of a cheese and veggie omelet with toast and fruit on the side.
You will need red peppers, green peppers, yellow peppers, tomatoes, red onions, paprika, black pepper, salt, garlic, oregano, eggs, olive oil, cheese, margarine, bread, and fruit.
Crack the eggs into a bowl and mix with olive oil.
Olive oil adds some texture. I prefer olive oil, but you can mix butter in if you'd like.
After you mix that, set it off to the side and grab your toast.
White bread and margarine are some of my favorites, but you can use anything you'd like.
For the omelet, set the stove on medium-high.
Now it's time to add everything to the omelet. Start with your peppers. I like yellow peppers, red peppers, and green peppers. Then we're gonna be moving on to the tomatoes. I like cherry tomatoes, so I diced them real small here. Then you add your peppers. I added each one in some bits. And then we are moving on to cheese, because I really love cheese. This is double cheddar cheese. Then we move on, carefully folding the omelet so you don't break it. Look at that. You know it's done when it's melted through. Then we transfer it to the plate, and we are done.
Thanks for joining me in my kitchen. For 2nd Edition, I'm Nora Mohammed. And there you have it, an omelet with fruit and toast.
Thanks for joining us today. Honestly, I'm getting pretty hungry right now. What about you?
I am too. I think we should get some food. We'll see you next time here on 2nd Edition.
See you later.